Hello, everyone. Welcome to another GoDaddy Pro EMEA Meetup. Today is November 8th, and today we have a great guest with us. Hi, Lee. This is Lee Shadle, and he's going to be our guest for tonight.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us and having me here, Maya.
It's true pleasure. You deserve so much more attention. And you have such an incredible story that you will be sharing with us tonight, both your personal and professional wise as well. So, first of all, I wanted to ask you, how are you doing these days?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm just having fun, nerding out on WordPress all the time.
And conferencing, right? Lots of
Yeah,
conferences these days, right? And you're in IT business, you're in WordPress, right? So could you tell us, please, which company you work for, and tell us a little bit about this professional trait that you have in yourself?
yeah. I'm a self-proclaimed block-obsessed WordPress freelancer. So I build block-based themes, plugins, and websites. But then I also kind of run a small agency building websites for clients, and it's called websitetherapy.com. And I use Elementor to build those sites. But so I build a lot of WordPress stuff all over the board, and the client work pays the bills. So
Said block obsessed, right?
yeah,
So
I'm
are we
obsessed
are
with
we gonna
blocks.
see a lot of blocks tonight? I mean, what are we going to be actually doing tonight? What's the plan?
Yeah, we're gonna look at how we can make the shift from using a more traditional page builder into using the block editor for client projects or any website for that matter. I use it for all my own projects too. So all kinds of block talk today.
This is awesome. So, I think that we can discuss further more into details, but I think it would be amazing if you could start sharing your information with us tonight. I will be in the chat. I will minimize myself, but if there is a question, then I'll try to actually come into the room instantly. Thank you very much, and the floor is yours.
Sounds great. Thanks, Maya. Well, thank you everyone for joining us here. And I have a little presentation I put together. Don't be afraid to shoot any questions into that chat box. I told Maya to just interrupt me if I'm going, because I get pretty excited once I get going. But I'm gonna walk you through this presentation here, and let me get it back to the beginning of time. Here we go. And can everyone, I need to share my screen, right? Here we go. Can everyone see my screen there? Thumbs up? Yes? Okay. Here we go. I'm going to kick this off. All right, so welcome to building websites, quickly building websites with a minimalist page builder. Like we said, I'm Lee. I'm a block-obsessed WordPress freelancer. I build WordPress sites for clients. This is a screenshot of one of the sites of the site I run my agency through, websitetherapy.com. We customize sites for clients using Elementor as our foundation. And then I build websites for myself for fun. This is wpplugin.com, which pretty excited about that domain. But it's actually a framework for quickly building block plugins for WordPress. And I've got a few free courses on there. If you want to nerd out on building blocks from scratch, check out WP Plugin. I've got a couple plugin templates where you can quickly scaffold a block plugin. It's not the easiest thing to get started. So this is something I've been working on over the years, and I use it to build all of my block-based plugins. And I am obsessed with blocks. I think they're the perfect canvas for creativity. They can be super simple or super complex, and you can kind of take them wherever you want to go. So for me, it's like the perfect canvas. My background is in building custom websites. I've been doing it for about 10 years. My expertise is in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and PHP. And I kind of dove into WordPress around the time that blocks were released because it really aligned with my skill set, and I thought they were the future. So I'm also obsessed with Speed. No, not the movie, but it's a great movie. But I love optimizing my workflows, figuring out ways to build stuff fast. And I'm obsessed with systems. And here I have a picture of Lead Pages. I don't know if you've used Lead Pages. It's great for spinning up landing pages quickly. I used to build templates for Lead Pages, and I quickly became the number one or two template sales person on there because of the systems I built. I'm always looking at ways to speed up my workflow. The more stuff I can build, the more money I can make, and the more time I can have to do the things I really want to do. So that's my background. You may think I'm possessed because I think that's what I wake up every day thinking about blocks and WordPress and plugins and websites. So maybe I'm actually just possessed, and sorry about that scary picture there. But there is a problem with the current state of things. Gutenberg's still young; it's still in its infancy, and it's not the old editor that we're used to. And so it's kind of like flying in a plane while it's being built. So we need to figure out, as business owners, as website builders, agency owners, how do we bridge that gap? What do we do about that? So to build client sites right now, I use Elementor. I don't know about you, but I actually really love Elementor. I think it's phenomenal, the amount of execution they have. I know this might be a controversial thing. I would love to hear thoughts about this, but I love using Elementor, and I use it exclusively for the client sites I build. Elementor has speed. They've got blocks, pre-made blocks, pre-made pages, templates, pre-made site kits. There's a huge ecosystem of site kits on like ThemeForest that you can use too. And it really speeds up my workflows. I love what they've done. They have systems. I don't know if you've used their systems a lot, but they have a theme builder for creating custom headers, footers, posts, page templates, and then setting global colors and fonts and font sizes. And these systems really, really speed things up significantly. And I think that's why Elementor really has my heart, is because I can do a lot of the stuff that I want to do as a developer pretty effortlessly just with the drag and drop UI they've built. But where's the blocks at? There's no blocks, and I'm obsessed with blocks. I'm going to show you this quick little video I put together. Oh no, I lost it. Here we go. I can't click anything here.
There's no audio as well, but there is also a question by Jose in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry, Maya. You said there's a question?
Yes, there is a question. Jose asked, you mentioned Divi. What's the difference, Divi theme?
I haven't really used Divi a whole lot. I'm not sure what the difference is. I've just focused mostly on using Elementor for my client work, just because of their systems, the speed with which I can do it, and their huge ecosystem of third-party tools that I can use. So I'm not really sure. Maya, have you used Divi? Are you familiar with it?
Jose just asked the question, so I'm just posting it to you. So maybe we can then continue. Well, Jose, if you want, can you please just elaborate more in the chat if you would like for us? So maybe Lee can come up with a different type of an answer later to this. Thank you.
Okay. well, Jose, if you post that, feel free to expand on that. Otherwise, I'll just continue with my my little Wendy's "Where's the Blocks" rant. Here we go. So I'll fast forward it to get to the fun part. So where's the blocks at? That's the big question. There's no blocks. There's no blocks in Elementor. I want to use blocks, but Gutenberg is under construction. It's not quite done yet. So Gutenberg is the future. At some point, we're going to have to make the move. I think maybe not, but I want to make the move just because I love building blocks, and I do think that we can achieve the same levels of speed, if not faster speed, if we have the entire WordPress community contributing to building with blocks and supporting using Gutenberg. So NFTs are also the future. I don't know if you bought any NFTs. I didn't get any of these, but I wish I had. Random, yes. Which brings me to what I built, a minimalist page builder. So this introducing Draft. You can check this out at wpdraft.com. Draft is, it's really, a lot of the parts of it are inspired by Elementor, except it's built on top of the block editor. So the underpinnings of the Draft plugin are the core blocks. There are no blocks baked into this plugin that I built, which is why I call it a minimalist page builder. All we're doing is we're harnessing and augmenting the power of those core blocks. And like Elementor, Draft has speed. We've got right now just a handful of copy and paste, responsive, ready to use block patterns. If you go to wpdraft.com, go to the block patterns, you can copy and paste those into any site. I'm going to do a demo here shortly, where you just copy and paste it and it's going to look identical to what you see. And Draft also has systems like Elementor. We've got a bunch of systems I baked in there. And the underlying foundation of the Draft page builder is Tailwind CSS. So there is definitely a learning curve. I'm sure you've worked on client sites where you've had to go in and write custom CSS, or you've had maybe some level, maybe you haven't. Eventually, I want to get it to where you don't need to know any CSS, because you can just copy and paste parts of sites, headers, footers, home pages. But underlying all of that is a system built on Tailwind CSS, a utility CSS framework. And a utility, if you're not familiar with what this is, it's a way of quickly composing styles in a way to, for example, make a button or make something responsive. And you can configure all of the underlying values of your website design system. You can define the colors, the font families, the default border widths and border radiuses, but everything's limited to a certain number of things. So if you or a client or someone who works for you is going in there, they're working within this design system. And finally, Draft has blocks. At its essence, all we're doing is we're adding utility classes to blocks in the block editor. And again, it's all built on top of all of the core blocks. We don't add any blocks. This isn't a block collection. This is, let's use what's there. Let's let WordPress core do what they're great at and build us great tools. And let's just augment them with utility classes. And these really open up a lot of doors for us. So how it works, keep it simple. First, we configure Tailwind CSS. You don't need to do this. You can just use the defaults off the shelf. The creators of Tailwind created a great set of defaults that we leverage. You don't need to go in there and change anything, but if you want to, you can change the foundation of everything. And when I say everything, if you're familiar with the block editor, there's a lot of things that you can do. You can change the font size and background colors and stuff like that. It's kind of tricky. There's not really a good interface for doing that responsively yet. And then once you get into more complex layouts and stuff, adding like absolute positioning, a lot of the stuff you could do with Elementor pretty easily, you just can't do. And that stuff is a ways out there. Well, with the Tailwind CSS as the underlying framework, you have access to pretty much every style under the sun: absolute positioning, fixed positioning, grid layouts, box shadows. Everything all of a sudden is available in the block editor. Second, you apply classes globally. So if you're familiar with utility classes, kind of the idea, the mental model behind them is that you're adding these classes inline. So for example, you have a header, like an H1 tag, and you want to have different sizes based on the different devices. Well, the mental model is typically you add those inline. Well, with the apply classes, this apply classes functionality, you can apply those classes to different elements of your site, such as H1, H2 through H6 tags, paragraph tags, blocks, core blocks, elements. For example, if you're using WooCommerce, you could apply it to different parts of your checkout process. And then finally, hopefully between configuring your Tailwind, applying those classes globally, then we can add them inline when you want to override some of those global styles. But wait, there's more. We've got all the Google fonts baked in as well. So you can start using all the Google fonts right off the shelf, just like you could in Elementor. And just last week, actually, we released a super light 5 kilobyte. I'm really excited about the size of this full site editing theme to use as a companion theme with the Minimalist page builder, this draft plugin that I built. And it's the theme is pretty interesting, I think, because what happens is, and another reason why this is a minimalist page builder, the theme essentially removes most of the block settings UI, and I'll show you here in a demo shortly. So this comes in handy for a lot of reasons. You go to one place to add or style anything, such as font sizes, font colors, background colors, box shadows. Everything's in one place, which I'll show you. But then also, if you're building sites for clients and you don't want them to really easily go in there and edit things, there's definitely a learning curve. I don't think the learning curve is necessarily a whole lot more than Elementor, but there's a learning curve. If a client wanted to learn how to do it, they definitely could. There's a ton of great documentation on how to use Tailwind, but it really minimizes this UI and makes the experience, like when you go in there, you know exactly where to go and to edit styles and edit everything. Like I said, I'm going to give a little demo here. Here is this is what I feel like after using a minimalist page builder. I feel like I am riding on this jet ski with a shark laser beam eyes. Just like I feel empowered by it. So I will jump right into this demo here. Okay, so here is the draft website. This site is built using our theme and then our Pro plugin. This is using the latest Gutenberg version of Gutenberg, the latest installed WordPress as well. So as you can see, you can do a pretty unique layout. And then you can also, this is all optimized for every device. If you're on, I hope everyone can see if this is big enough. But I want to show you what happens here. Okay, so here's the front end, here is the back end. And if we click into this heading, for example, here's all the utility classes applied. And like I said, the goal is to not necessarily do this as much as possible, but for something like an H1 tag on your homepage, you might have a different sizing and structure than H1 tags on the rest of your pages. So these inline styles override whatever is set globally, and I'll show you that. But this is the essence of how this works. You can come in here and you have access to all kinds of utility classes, such as margin. If I keep scrolling, padding, inset, it just goes on. And it does seem overwhelming at first, but once you learn the grammar of Tailwind, you're really going to feel empowered. And like I said, check that out. Like, this is the UI. Everything else is pretty much gone, like colors, sizes. You can also access adding utility classes right over here as well. And this comes in handy for a lot of different things. I like to alternate my headings just to see, test out what works better. So like this, it's hidden. I just hide it. Super easy. I could show it on different device sizes if I wanted. There's different classes for the different devices, and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Once you can have the color, you could have a different text color on tablet, mobile, and desktop if you wanted. You could have it rotate a different direction if you wanted. But as you can see, everything looks pretty much identical in the editor. And this is like I said, a 5 kilobyte theme. Super lightweight. So that's kind of the gist of using it. I'm going to show you really quick some of the advanced settings. If I go into edit default settings here, we have a whole slew of settings. You can come in here, configure Tailwind. This configures these underlying utility classes. So for example, if I type P10, it adds a padding of 10. And what does that mean? If I come into spacing, 10 is 2.5 rems. You could do pixels. If I change this, let's change it to 40 pixels, and it's applied. If I save it, it should automatically adjust that. And for some reason, that didn't adjust it there. But that's no good. Okay, I'll have to look into that bug. So you can also set colors, and kind of the way the color system works is there is a set of semantic and chronological color slugs that you can use. So we have a background. What I like to do is set a background color, a foreground color. So the background would be, in this case, white. The foreground would be all your text for your body, and then your default like H1 through H6 tags. And I've got that set to black. And then the primary color, which I use for headlines as well as buttons. And then I've also got a secondary color for like hovering and stuff. And then we've also got tertiary, quaternary, all the way down through all these different sequential slugs. And then we've got light and dark as well. You can do a ton of stuff with that, with just having these different color slugs. If I wanted to do BG dark, it'll apply a dark background color. For some reason, I'm going to reload. I don't know why this isn't working. It's really strange. I apologize. Okay, so we also have font family. You can adjust all the fonts. Like I said, we've got all the Google fonts in here that you can adjust. And we've got 4 different slots for adding custom fonts. And then again, you can adjust border width, border radius, use custom values for all of these things. So once you've configured Tailwind, you can come in and you can apply these classes globally to your paragraph tags, to your H1 tags. So for example, I've got the primary font applied to my H1 tags. with a size of text 5XL. And then on mobile, I reduce the size down to text 4XL. So if I come back up here, our primary font is Poppins. And then our font sizes, we have 5XL on desktop, 4XL on mobile. And this just automatically applies to all H1 tags, all H1 blocks site-wide. We've also got, you can also apply classes to blocks, such as button blocks are notoriously hard to style in the block editor. It's hard to add, a different hover color. Here you can just use utility classes, and then you can also adjust the margin, the padding, the font size for different devices as well. And then I'm going to continue to add different things you can apply classes as we dig into using this more and more and work on speeding up the workflow of everything. We're going to uncover, efficiencies and how to use this. So the goal is you apply the classes globally, and that gets you kind of 80 to 90% of the way there with your styling. And then you override those globally applied classes in line with the utility classes that you've configured with Tailwind. And then finally, we've got our theme settings here. And right now, this just gives you the ability to adjust the size of your block layout, such as the content size, which would be if you have a block like this group block, for example, our width of none is basically your content size. Our wide size, which is defaults to 80 rem, but you can change that again to pixels. You could do like 1200 pixels. And then you can also apply a gutter depending on the different device sizes. The gutter would just be, this little space over here on the side between the edges here. And then the block gap is another setting in the block editor that would be for using with columns and such. You can define the distance between the columns, and then you can define it based on device as well. And finally, the thing that really I think speeds things up even more is this import export feature. All of these settings, you can just copy and paste them anywhere. So I'm going to try this. I don't know why things aren't working. I'm going to reset all and then save this just to show you. There we go. So this is kind of the default off the shelf. It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't really have a whole lot of style. And then I can just paste that back in there and save that and update it, and all of a sudden we've got everything back to the way it was. And I'm going to make this. So as you start, getting familiar with using this and creating a design system, you could easily import and export these default settings between WordPress installs, and I have to believe that you could see the advantage of being able to do that. You could come in here if you're doing a similar type of site over and over again, configure all of these things, copy and paste them, and then all you might really need to change is the default colors, the background color, the foreground color, the primary color, and then come in and change your fonts. And you'll have all of your favorite default theme settings and everything all ready to go. And before I go any further, I have one more thing I want to show you that I'm super excited about. We have a copy and paste block pattern library. And right now we've only got a handful of things, but I'm going to keep building out all kinds of different parts of sites. So we have headers, we've got feature. So I'll show you some of the headers that you'll be able to secondary headers that you'll be able to just drop in to any site. And this will just keep expanding as we go. And I'm going to go over here to the pricing to show you. So here's a simple pricing table optimized for mobile and tablet devices. And you can just come in here, copy as many of these as your heart desires. And I'll show you how this works. You just paste it in. Pretty magical experience. Now WordPress does have a block pattern library, and there's some really beautiful block patterns in there. But Depending on what theme you're using, there's a good chance it'll look significantly different if you have a different theme than what they're showing it in the library. And most of the time, they may not necessarily be optimized for mobile. These, because we're using utility classes, everything's optimized for mobile, tablet, desktop, right off the shelf. So when you paste this in, you don't have to do anything, and it automatically absorbs whatever styles you're using on your site. So the only reason this is purple is because it's configured as the primary background color. If you had a different primary background color, you'd be seeing a different color. If you had a different configuration for your font family, you would see different fonts here as well. And I'm gonna show you one more here. Copy that one and just show you. Just paste this in. I mean, it's pretty amazing what you can do all of a sudden. And once we start, we're gonna have a lot more of all these components, but eventually we're gonna have full built sites where you'll be able to just import a configuration and then import, some WordPress XML for all the page layouts and stuff, and you'll be building sites from scratch very, very quickly that are all optimized for mobile, desktop, and tablet. So with that being said, I'm going to go back in here into my presentation. So coming soon, like I said, more speed. We're going to add more block patterns, eventually pages and templates, full-blown websites. You can try it for free right now. We've got a free plugin in the plugin directory. It's got a handful of responsive utility classes to start messing around with. Works with any theme. You don't need to use our theme. So if you've got a site with Gutenberg installed, go grab this and try it out and start seeing what it looks like. It's pretty fun to play with. The margin padding. We've got flex basis in there, which allows you to adjust the column structure. So you can stack columns however you want in mobile, desktop, tablet view. And I have these links in the chat. You can follow me on twitter.com/LeeShadle to learn more. I'm going to jump back out of here and see if there are any questions. That about wraps up my presentation here, Maya.
This is
sharing my
amazing.
screen.
This is amazing. I have before everybody settles their minds, I just wanted to ask you, how did you get inspiration to build something like this?
I'm always trying to find ways to build faster because I can only, build as many client sites and only execute as many ideas as I can build fast. So probably it comes from like, I have all these ideas I want to build, so I need a way of doing it quickly. And Tailwind itself, the team over at Tailwind, they have a set of components for building custom sites from scratch. They don't have a solution for building in WordPress, and they are another huge inspiration for this because I really love what they're doing over there. So.
I have many more questions, but Marcus is asking that one of his favorite Elementor features is shape dividers. Is there anything that you know of that provides similar functionality in the block editor?
I know there are some shape divider plugins. I actually built one, and I'm going to eventually release one for free in the WordPress directory, but I've been focused on, getting all these systems working together. But I know there are some free ones out there in the plugin directory for the block editor. I think WPStackable.com too. They have a free kind of page builder for Gutenberg, and they have dividers. And I think CoBlocks does as well. I think CoBlocks has a shape divider block.
Interesting. I just wanted also to ask you, what was your first project? I mean, it's one thing to be a web developer and designer, but then to create a project that maybe actually doesn't exist in the workspace, or perhaps it exists in a different form, but you want to upgrade it. How did you find the courage, the time to organize the daily jobs and then develop something new like a niche project?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. I just my obsession with building blocks, like I just wanted to tinker with them. So I really, in order to make space, I had to find ways to do things fast. So using like Elementor for the client sites kind of opened up space for me to explore other ways of doing things, and that has given me, now I have another way of opening more space to create things like a shape divider block, or expanding on this plugin. So
That's great. And how big is your business? Do you employ people or you're self-employed? How does it
it's
work for you?
it's just me right now.
Oh my God. So it's really busy on your end, right?
It's pretty busy, but I mean, I have about 60 clients whose sites I host right now, and
Mm-hmm.
then I also support those clients, and then I bring on 2 to 3 new projects a month. But the key to being able to do all that one person, and I don't necessarily want to be doing it one person forever, but it really forces me to find ways to do things fast. I mean, it's a forcing function.
It's really, I mean, it's really nice what you have brought to WordPress ecosystem, because it saves time. So my next question to you would be, what other tools you use to save time? I mean, I see now how you save time building web pages, but how do you save other time? Are there any specific business tools that you would recommend to people who are also solopreneurs and who like to think and do things fast? I mean, if you can remember just any tool that really helps you a lot, that really satisfy your needs.
I do use GoDaddy for all my domains. I maybe you looked at my account and that's why I'm here, because I have like 350 domains on GoDaddy.
Well,
So
no, I didn't know this. Sorry. I mean, this is not a paid commercial. I didn't know that. Actually, I just fell in love with your work. I mean, when I saw what you guys are doing, and how much time actually it saves to people, it's really extraordinary. And I thought that, and since I presumed it was a small company, and I was like, okay, we really need to give push to these people because they're doing good for the community. So, but this thing I didn't know about
thank
GoDaddy,
you, Maya.
but I'm happy that we actually help you. And Jose has a question. Is this been able to install in GoDaddy WordPress hosting? Me too, lol. Yes, I presume it would be, but I will
Yeah,
check.
I mean, yeah, for sure. You definitely can.
Yeah. So that would another thing what I wanted to ask you. So how many teams actually you guys have, or do you only have one team? Because that part I didn't understand.
Uh, oh, we just have the one. We just have
Mm-hmm.
one. So
All
it's
right.
kind of it's like a universal theme is the idea.
All right. And if people would like to try it, have we shared? Is there a specific link that they could
There's
actually?
Yeah, it's on the website if you go to WP Drafts, but I'll also drop the link in here. Uh, it was just approved on Friday, so I'm pretty
Well,
excited that, yeah,
congratulations.
I was
Uh,
hoping to get it in before today so I could share it.
What is the plan for Tailwind? So you're basically, I see that you will be adding new features and the library. Actually, what I wanted to tell you about library, this concept of being able to set all these prerequisites like headings, 1, 2, 3, whatever, and different types of other things that we can automate. It's really useful to huge companies who, if we consider this as a card, you just send this card to the client, he puts all the CI, brand wise, whatever prerequisites, and you will get it there. And then you cannot actually make a mistake while doing some brand new website for a huge company that you never worked before. So it's very useful. I mean, and can be set for both the client and the web developer. I think it has really many applications. Let me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Here it is. So it's wordpress.org/team/WP draft. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's it.
That's awesome. Since I don't think I will still give a little bit of more time for our friends to perhaps ask us a question. But if nothing else, I would really appreciate if you can all share your opinion of this meetup, because I think we learned a lot. And Marcus is saying there are few blocked plugins, but Draft is not one of them. None of the page builders are blocked. So regarding the certain plugin ban. So, Lee, this was really awesome time that we spent today, and I believe that all of us have learned a lot. Is there perhaps something something that you can tell to our community, because this video will be also on our GoDaddy Pro YouTube channel? Is there something how you can motivate people who have ideas, how to pursue them, how to know when to start, and how to gain all the energy, how when they decide not to sleep basically in their life? Is there anything that you can tell to these people who have dreams like you had?
Oh yeah, I think the key is to just start small. Just like start really small. Just start with one little thing, and I know this looks like a lot, because it is a lot, but it's been the culmination of, like, I've been working on this for like 4 years. So it's been just, I've been biting away at it as I go. And just, wherever you feel like pulled to do something, just let yourself get pulled there and start small. And then who knows where it'll take you. I don't know. It brought me here today. So pretty excited that it did that.
I think you did an amazing work already, and I think that ideas that people have, such as you, will enrich our visual experience of web, and at the same time save us time to have some more fun in the parks as well at the same time, and
Yes, please.
commit some time to families, right? So, and yeah, and TC saying now it's a great time to start. And I will just add, I think any time is great to start. We also shared your details here in the Slack, but for those who will be watching this video, the body below the video, because there we will also leave the link to Lee. So if you have any questions, or perhaps you want to join his adventure, or you're using his plugin and you just want to know how you feel about it, please, we will leave all this data, because I think we all need to support Lee. If there is anything personally that I can do, but the first thing is first, I will try it. I will.
Oh, thank you, Maya.
No, I will try it for sure, because it
Having
really.
me is helping. I appreciate you having me here.
No, it's true pleasure. And Ken says, and Jeffrey says, and Ken also, that they will be giving it a try with their new site.
All
Looks
right.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't
So
hesitate, Ken. If you have any questions, DM me on Twitter. I'm here to help. So
can you also please share the Twitter handle?
yeah, for sure. Twitter.
That will be awesome.
Here we go.
Here it is. Very good. So that we will be wrapping up this meetup. Lee, thank you very much for your time. First, committed to us here today, although you're very busy, and I'm sure you have lots of things to finish on your end, but also for actually building such an amazing product that you are working on. We all together, I'm sure I can say this, and if there is anything we can do for you, we'll be there for you.
Oh, thank you, Maya. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you, folks. This was another GoDaddy Pro EMEA meetup. Next GoDaddy Pro EMEA meetup will be in 2 weeks, and we will have a very interesting topic, still not to be relieved, most probably tomorrow. But you will be also very intrigued with the story of a lady in tech. Thank you very much for all your time.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.